Hello, welcome to part 2 of doing educational things in the kitchen with Parker. I'm Parker, nice to meet you. I don't know what specific language to use to describe why you're watching this, but welcome. I'm going to cook soup, and I'm going to also talk to you about the soup that is my gender identity. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm transgender, hello. I'm making mushroom soup because I love mushroom soup. It's got like pretty inexpensive ingredients. Oh, I guess I should explain like why we're making soup. I'm gonna shut the window. There's a neighborhood cat that likes to visit my house, and I was worried about him coming to the window, making lots of noise. I've named him Deck because he hangs out on our deck. Okay, so I want to tell you the story of kind of my coming out and my coming to realize that I was trans, and kind of touch on developing like that identity within myself and kind of understanding it better. Different things that you might expect to see developmentally in like teens, for example, might be a little bit different with queer folks. Developmentally, things are a little bit different because now there's this new big part about yourself that you're learning about and navigating. I do something called follow your heart cooking. Take a recipe, but like kind of stick to the main components of the recipe, but then just do whatever I want with it. I get to choose, and I think it feels really empowering. This is like empowerment soup. I don't think that people's gender identity and sexual orientation are something that they like and that they just wake up and choose that that's going to happen to them. Along with not getting to choose that I was going to be trans, I get to choose how I'm going to experience being trans. And I get to kind of follow my heart and just do whatever I want. And so yeah, that's why I want to tell the story and make Follow Your Heart soup. I don't have a working stove right now and have not for several weeks. And so my best friend loaned us a cooktop. And so here we are. It actually works so nice. This is a good place to film a video. I don't know. We also follow our heart on the temperature. And then I start with a bunch of butter. How did I find out that I was trans? Well, funny story. I had kind of started questioning my gender and questioning why I was feeling certain things, and so I went to the Pride Center here in Edmonton, and there's a support group there that runs called TTIQ, and I went there and I met somebody there. They were like, ooh, you should meet this other person that I know. And so I went that night and I met that other person. They told me a little bit about their own story and their own experiences, and I was like, oh gosh, this is my experience too. One moment, we're gonna pause the story here for a second. The recipe said a half of a large onion. I put a whole small onion. So yeah, and then just whatever garlic you want. Can you really have too much garlic? I think you can sometimes, but it's kind of rare. Just do what you want. There was 3 of us there. There was the friend that I met at the group, and then there was the other person who was connected to them. So we were hanging out and talking a lot about being trans and being non-binary and what that meant, and they had just so many similar experiences to me, and it was wild actually. I remember being like, whoa, this is a person who I relate to a lot more than I've related to anybody in a while. Yeah, just like, what does this mean for my life, and what does this mean about what I want for my life? It was a lot to absorb. We're gonna end up blending this because I hate onions. I love the taste of onions, but I hate the texture of them. So this is one way that I follow my heart, and I learned how to blend onions so that they are soft. They're not quite there yet, but we're looking for translucency, meaning you can see kind of through it, but not all the way. Kind of like my understanding of my gender. I understand it, but not all the way. You think that you know who you are for a while, and then you realize that you were thinking one way because of how you're supposed to be in society. I don't know. I was a little nervous about the temperature thing, but I think we're doing okay. Ooh, we're doing so good! Woo! I should mention that this recipe is also vegan and gluten-free. I'm not vegan, and I can eat gluten, but this is still a delicious recipe. So like, when we're talking about identity, we think about the different theories, and in my other video that I posted, honestly, if you haven't watched that one, you should watch it. It was quite good. We made brownies. We were talking about Erickson's 8 stages of development and how theories are like the foundation of something, right? So we're going to take mushrooms, onion, garlic, yeah, herbs and spices, whatever you want, a cream, and a broth. And the rest is you just do whatever you want. And so this is veggie broth, and this is coconut milk, and then this is my secret ingredient. Actually, there's 2 secret ingredients. One moment, I'll tell you about the other one when I pull it out. So the secret ingredients are dill and balsamic vinegar. Who knew? I didn't. What I'm doing with the mushrooms here is just making them soft, the same as I did with the onion and the garlic. And you just gotta be patient. You can't rush it. Just like you can't rush mushroom soup, you can't rush gender. The other thing is that gender changes over time. So just because somebody feels and expresses themselves one way now doesn't mean that later on they're still going to feel and express themselves in that way. Mushroom soup can happen in about an hour or so, maybe a little bit less than an hour. And gender's not that simple. And we adjust and modify. I'm realizing this was probably a little bit not hot enough. And so when we find new things out about our gender and about how we want to express ourselves, we adjust and you get creative, and it's a lot of playing around. I have found that most of my exploration of my gender identity is just playing. So what we do next, I'm going to just explain it before we go forward. What we're going to do is we're going to put the mushroom, onion, and garlic in the blender with some of the stock. All I did was just take it off the heat for a little bit while the battery charged. And so I put in the broth, the coconut milk in here, and I have not done anything else to it. And then this is the part where you really get to follow your heart. I got some soup on my shirt. I didn't plan on that. I should have worn my apron. So while this is heating up, we start adding things. So I'm going to put more salt in it because it needs to be more salty. And what I do to follow my heart, just like with gender stuff, one thing at a time. So I add a little bit of salt, I stir it up, and then I taste it. And then I add a little bit of something else, and then I stir it up, and then I taste it again. And I just add one thing at a time and learn what everything tastes like. And you learn what flavors change it in different ways. And that's the same with like exploring your gender, is like try one thing at a time, go slow, and over time you will get to know yourself better, and you'll get to learn what things make you feel happy and what things don't. I'm gonna add dill. So now, the secret to dill, my personal secret, is figuring out how much to put in. And my trick is that you put in enough where you think, that's enough, and then you put a little more in. I really like dill in this mushroom soup. I think it makes it like taste sweet. I don't know. Sweet, like something I didn't say when I found out I was trans. Oh, that's good. Okay. Like honestly, it's that simple. Just do whatever you want. The thing is that gender is yours to explore, and even if you're not trans, like gender's still a thing that you can play around with, like masculinity and femininity, and understanding that for yourself and what that means for your own life and your own expression, because like it's not only trans people that get to play with their gender. I don't know what other people's like cooking experience is, but I had very minimal. I mean, I cooked with my family growing up, but I didn't get too creative. I didn't think you could add stuff like this to soup. I don't fully understand the ways of the balsamic, but it is just an extra little something. I kind of want to add more. A little more. There we go. Like I said, patience. It's a process. Slow down. It's okay. This is delicious. We're doing well. Here, this thing has a simmer function. You basically just let it simmer like this for a bit, and when it tastes right, then take it off. Like, it doesn't have to be anything. Just be how you want it. Just like your gender. I don't know. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that this has shared some insights with you, at least. I feel like my exploring of my gender is really similar to how I've explored food and how I've learned to express myself with food and to follow my heart and do what I want and put in ingredients that I think might taste okay, and if they don't, knowing that that's okay. Like for example, if somebody chooses to use a prosthetic device of any kind to help them feel more affirmed and it doesn't, and it makes them feel worse, or it doesn't really do anything for them, then that's okay. It's okay that they tried that, and it's okay that it didn't work. And I think that we have to like make more allowances for ourselves to play and try and open up, because if we're not following our hearts and we're not opening up and we're not trying new things and just going with how our body feels and the things that we want for ourselves, then I think that we're really holding ourselves back from the creativity that can come from all of this and the insight that can come to your life. It's not as simple as the theories that we're taught in school, and it's not as simple as like a cookie cutter version of what a trans person looks like. We know that it's not simple like that, but just like follow your heart soup, we can understand how people are just following their hearts with their gender too. So thank you for watching this video. If you are watching this video and you're in a child youth care class, it might be fun to go watch the other video that I posted about baking brownies. It's fun. I don't know if you have to watch both, but there's another one on there and it might be informative and fun for you. If you are not from a child youth care class and you've stuck around, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that this was informative and entertaining and funny and supportive.